As a boy, I loved tractors, and you know what? I still do today. They're clunky, they're cumbersome, they're steady eddies. They get the job done. And if you look at the front of any tractor, you can see they've almost got the expression of a little face. You know, they've got their own little characters. That's why I'm in love with them, and they're full of nostalgia. Show me a boy that doesn't like tractors, and I'll show you where you can catch a bus to the moon. This is wonderful. Do you know, a lot of us don't have anything to do with the land, and a lot of people don't know where their food comes from. We don't really get involved with planting or picking. Maybe the odd, you know, pick your own during the summer season, getting the strawberries. And believe me, if you haven't done that, it is quite back-breaking. So spare a thought for the humble farmer before one of these things came along. People have long cultivated the soil. Before the Industrial Revolution, farming was limited to the physical endurance of man and his beast of burden. The horse, the ox, and the weary farmer toiled relentlessly over a crop until steel and mechanical engines were available to the masses. By the late 1800s, farm labour had become mechanised, and for the first time, increased production meant smaller human endeavour. At last, a tireless alternative to sheer muscle power was available to food producers, and by 1910, the gasoline engine had pushed steam engines aside. These machines were smaller and a lot more affordable. And of course, the model for the tractor that we love and know today emerged. There's been many revelations in farming machinery, but none have enabled man to take such a giant leap forward in harvesting our food as the way the old tractor has. And today I've come here to meet a man in Bristol who's got a fantastic collection of tractors. His name's Keith Sherrill, and well, his tractors date back to the early part of the 20th century. And he said to meet in this field about now. Have I got the right field? Yeah, any moment now. Ah, there he is. Keith?
Hello, are you
Hello,
Paul?
yes I am.
How are you? Sorry I'm a bit late.
That's all right, that's
You
okay.
come to see my tractors
I have,
then?
yeah, where shall we go?
Oh, we'll walk on down the shed then.
Okay. Good drive up?
Yes, yes.
Keith has been working the land ever since he can remember. If you're born into an agricultural family, tractors and machinery are an integral part of growing up. Keith started collecting his own agricultural machinery in 1966 and has now an impressive collection that's open to the public. Oakham Treasures is the result of his appreciation for the utilitarian charm of the mechanical workhorse.
What an incredible space, Keith. It's a great warehouse, it's massive. How big is it?
About 20,000 square feet.
How many tractors have you got in your collection?
About 60.
You're a very passionate man about your farming equipment. What's the date line of the tractors?
Anything from about 1920 up to 1976.
So this is one of the
Ranging
earliest,
from
this is 1920?
20, yeah.
It's a solid lump, isn't it? So is that the birth of the tractor?
Yes. Previous to that, it was the steam engine type.
So you're always out on the hunt still?
Always on the hunt for something different, unusual.
You got tractors from all over the world, really?
Yes. Plenty from America, Australian.
Some big Aussie ones.
Some big Aussie ones.
Beautifully displayed, they really are. Oh, I've just spotted my favourite one, that Grey Massey. That's a mid-1950s, isn't it? Do you know, I saw one for sale, the farmer was selling it, and do you know, I had to ask my wife, but she said no, so I had to let the chap down.
Well, I didn't used to ask my wife, I came home with it.
I can see that. I think there's a lot more through there, isn't there?
Through there, yes.
Wow, incredible. That's unusual.
This is a bit of a special. It was a wartime tractor on airports and aerodromes.
It's stripped right back to the bare essentials, isn't it? It's kind of really small and squat.
It was basic, and that's what just made it unusual to the one which is next to it, which is an agricultural.
Same make?
Same
You
make.
can see the difference, can't you?
Yes.
That's designed for going in the fields.
Yes.
So these really came into their own during the wartime.
We had to produce food.
Yeah, for the
and
war
that's
effort.
all for the war effort.
For those who lived through World War II, it's a very different world now to the one that existed during Hitler's ransack of Europe. That was a time of rationing, and the steel used for arms and munitions was in short supply. The humble tractor came into its own. Mottos like "Dig for Victory" provoked a spirit that united the nation. As 5 million British men were called upon to serve their country and fight abroad, a hole in the labour force emerged. Around 80,000 women across the land were drafted in to become farm labourers, driving tractors and harvesting crops. They worked the fields and managed the machinery, taking the place of the men who were away fighting. For many, the smell of a tractor still brings back intense memories of a time when they were called to work the land for the good of the nation, and the pride they felt for having served their country.
This one's interesting, this International. Tell me about that.
It's a bit special to me because there's a photograph of me with my father on it when I was about 5 years old, and that's probably where it all started.
Would your father be proud of this collection?
Oh, I think so, yes.
Yeah, I bet he would. There is just so much here to see, isn't there? I could spend all day here.
Well, I've definitely rediscovered my love for tractors. The next time you're stuck behind one on a small country road, why not just sit back and marvel at all they've done for you?